issues and major tendencies which we have. Of course, today we discussed a lot about security, independence, etc. So how I see it, there are two things. So it's commercial security and physical security of infrastructure. So commercial security, so basically how, if we are prone to external pressure, when we have high prices, when we have social unrest and even political influence, and usually it goes with diversification of resources and have backup plan B, or at least knowing what to do when something happens. And then physical infrastructure, so we discussed a little bit, but also I'll show a few slides in the future. So second issue, which is currently a little bit forgotten, but it's like lion in the jungle. So it's global warming, and it doesn't go away. So what we are seeing here today, what I missed a little bit during discussions, is what are the pollution taxes. And it's rising quite a lot. So in my opinion, electricity prices will never go back before COVID, just because of the pollution taxes. And if we have 100 euros per megawatt hour per ton, it means that electricity price from gas turbines is at around 40 euros per megawatt hour just for pollution. So it's quite a lot. So we can see this in this graph regarding gas, electricity. So there is already green line which indicates that gas turbines also need to pay for the pollution electricity. So what's happening right now? We're installing a lot of as a world, installing a lot of solar and wind, so it will reach more than 1,000, already reached 1,000 gigawatts of solar and wind, but it's not enough. So if we see wind and solar, so basically all the renewables still produces less than 1/3 of all our production in the world, and 70+% is still so. Thinking about Lithuania and the world is pretty on the same page as Lithuania. The only difference is that Lithuania is importing, but the world is producing from sources which will have to be shut down in the future. So there is a lot of potential to shifting to green energy. So how to solve those issues? There are three things. The first one, obviously, is electricity production from renewables. Second one is electrification, which was mentioned a little bit by CEO of Evecon. I really enjoyed that part. And then third point is how we manage our infrastructure, energy systems, etc. So basically, other people call it smart grid. So regarding Lithuania, of course, everybody mentioned a lot of times that we import 2/3 of the electricity. It's that big, very big and serious issue, but also we need to not forget how much of our energy needs is electricity. And Lithuania consumes approximately 80 terawatt-hours of energy, of which electricity is less than 14. And then we have heating, 30 terawatt-hours, which is basically biomass and gas. Biomass will be not renewable from 25 or 27. We have 30+ terawatts from transport, then we have industry, and we have, and this is all potential for electrification and also for energy efficiency, because if you electrify transport, so it means that energy needs to decrease 3 times just because of efficiency, because you waste like 60% of energy through heat. So, and if we have a lot of renewables, we were discussing what will happen with the electricity price, how stable it will be, etc. And obviously it will be a huge problem. And in my opinion, flexibility is a key answer in the future. By flexibility, I mean battery storage. Battery storage doesn't matter, is it utility scale or household scale. The main thing that I remember there was like Litgrid, one report that stated in the future differences between lowest price and highest price in one day will be like 3,000 euros, etc. One of the scenarios. I think it's impossible because currently for battery storage, leverage cost of electricity for one cycle is approximately 60 euros per megawatt hour. So it's like, if it's 3,000, you have a huge business case for putting it. Second thing is electric transport, which is basically battery on the wheels. And third one, which I don't know why we don't think about, but the heating systems is basically also a big battery. Because heating systems usually has a very big inertia of 2 days, 3 days, even 1 week, and it can be used to store energy. For example, this is a picture from Berlin. They are building a big water tank. It will consist like 56 million liters of water, and they will use renewable energy as a balancing and also for heating this energy. So what happens when there is a lot of wind, a lot of sun, they will put a lot of heat in it, and the calculation that when it's fully operational, they will cover all Berlin hot water demand only from this one, and in the winter they will cover approximately 15% of heat and hot water demand from this storage. So in other words, transport and heating is not a big problem for electrification, it's like a solution for balancing renewables. So when we are talking about flexible demand, those two sectors, in my opinion, are the biggest solution for that. And also what we done, the Lithuanian Prosumer Association did. So in Lithuania we tend to see that prosumers are basically generating electricity for themselves. I'm looking at them from a different perspective. They are electrifying the transport and heating. For example, 100 prosumers have 25 electric vehicles or charging right. While a regular household has only less than one. Regular prosumer has approximately 50 heat pumps, so every second prosumer. One regular household only 6. So it means they are also solving not only generation but electrification question as well. And also there was a survey done, and people were asked, what is your willingness to, what is the main reason for you to buy electric vehicle and let's say heat pump? And they said, if I can produce electricity for myself, then I have security that prices will not increase a lot in the future. So in other words, 9 out of 10 consumers said that ability for himself to generate electricity influences his decision to buy electric vehicle a lot. So, and regarding let's say national security of energy sector, as I mentioned, in my opinion, decentralized network is an asset, and we made some calculations how it looked like in case of an attack, etc. So, if we look at critical infrastructure points in Lithuania, and centralized network, we have 17 substations. This figure is way too optimistic to turn Lithuanian network down. It's more like 5 or maybe even less. And decentralized, we have more than 400 substations at the middle, let's say 110 and 35 kilovoltage. And if we take one object down, we'll get like 160 people without electricity. And decentralized, maximum 7,000. Restoration, almost 1 year. For this, if you have equipment in the storage which is standardized, you can do the same day or even within a few weeks. Then cost per unit in tens of millions, usually hundreds of thousands. And additional requirements, of course, centralized, we have it but decentralized, we need batteries, inverters, and there's some circuit breakers, etc. But it's not that much of investment. That's hundreds of millions of euros, of which anyway private business will invest a lot into batteries. And this is a picture from Ukraine. I don't know if you saw it. It looks quite terrible. The power plant was blown up by a big missile. But looking at it, I'm quite surprised. Yesterday evening I stopped and calculated every single panel, and to rebuild it, it will be 60,000 euros with all the construction works, etc. And I found the article, so the next day, 50% of that power plant was operational. They just changed the wiring and still it was working. And within 2 weeks, they were able to restore the whole power plant. So in my opinion, that when we have decentralized network, for example, for Russians, it would be like waste of money sending Iskanders or whatever missiles which cost millions of euros or making damage for 50,000 euros. So decentralized network, in my opinion, is one of the best solutions we should do for that. And for the end, regulatory changes are mandatory and necessary if we want to make renewable shift and if we want to have higher security. So fast renewable development procedures. Lithuania has done quite a good job regarding wind development and solar from point of view that we don't need special planning. But still, for example, to build between 1 and 15 megawatts of solar, it will take 2 years, of which construction will take only 4 months. So it means we'll spend like 18 months or 20 months for paperwork, maintenance, commissioning, etc. Wind park will be 4 years, of which 2 years will be manufacturing equipment installed. So 2 years plus for paperwork. And now that in Latvia and Estonia it's even worse, because they have to do special planning, etc. And the second point what we need to do is to change our regulatory mindset. The tariffs is no longer needed to, of course it's needed to collect money for network, to have maintenance, investments, etc. But in my opinion, at this moment, the first goal of tariffs should be changing behavior of customers. So it means energy efficiency should be as a priority, then electrification as mentioned before, and renewables promotion, and maybe even reserve energy resource installation, depending on the situation. So this is very important because currently what we are doing is just dividing the amount of money we need for network from kilowatt hours, and that's it. So I think we need more behavioral specialists in the energy sector to see how to change the whole mind. And then flexibility. As I mentioned before, so basically what we need to define what flexibility and products of, so it means for what we are paying, then we need of course some subsidies for getting started, and maybe we would even need some mandatory requirements. By mandatory requirements, I mean, for example, those central heating storages, or even if we are giving money for subsidizing electric vehicle charging stations or heat pumps, so it can be a little bit smarter in order to be programmable for flexibility. So I think those 3 things, and so that's it. Thank you.